Here's your wrestling news for March 21st, 2023, and we're kicking off today with WrestleMania, as the upcoming event will mark 1 year since Bianca Belair captured the Raw Women's Championship. This year, Belair will face the recently rejuvenated Asuka, but the build towards this match has left some fans disappointed. On this week's Raw, the champion and challenger defeated Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, but as fans have come to expect, the future WrestleMania opponents have struggled to coexist. Post-match, Asuka attacked the EST to send a message, and on Twitter, fans shared their less than favorable reviews of this angle. The consensus is that the build to this match has been incredibly weak, as was Asuka's attack on Belair, and that this doesn't bode well for their match at WrestleMania. On paper, Belair vs. Asuka should be an absolute barn burner, but with this weak build, which has seen little physicality between the two, the fans just don't seem to be on board. Belair has dominated every woman she's faced since winning the Raw Women's title a year ago, and what do you make to the build towards this match with Asuka, and do you think the Empress of Tomorrow should win at WrestleMania? This week's Raw also saw a rare appearance by Roman Reigns, who came face-to-face with Cody Rhodes in their second segment together. Contrary to the last time the pair shared the ring, there was almost zero references to Dusty Rhodes, and it was instead a malicious back-and-forth promo between two superstars without outright burying each other. The line of the night has to go to Reigns, who said that Cody ran away from WWE because he didn't want to play Stardust anymore, and ran away again after he started a company that Cody couldn't get over in. On Twitter, fans were wowed by the segment, with many going crazy over Reigns referencing AEW, albeit not by name. One fan also mentioned that it was impressive that Reigns referenced AEW without burying the opposition company, as it was clear that his malice was aimed at the running away Cody Rhodes and not AEW. Cody, Brandy Rhodes, and Tony Khan have kept quiet about why exactly Cody chose to leave AEW, but Roman Reigns certainly has his opinion on what transpired, and this made for an incredible promo during this week's Raw. Just a few weeks ago, Bray Wyatt was on the road to WrestleMania 39, and his match with Bobby Lashley was all but confirmed. However, Wyatt hasn't been seen on TV in weeks due to an illness, and we've now learned more about what was supposed to happen. PW Insider reports that Wyatt was scheduled to appear regularly on SmackDown in the run-up to WrestleMania, including being on last week's show. As we all saw, that didn't happen, and while Wyatt is reportedly slated to be at this Friday's event, it's looking more and more unlikely that this'll happen. While Uncle Howdy has done some of the heavy lifting, we've also seen less of him, and Bray's absence has also resulted in Alexa Bliss, who was being set up for a storyline with Howdy, vanishing from TV. On Twitter, Bobby Lashley has teased that he will face someone else at WrestleMania, and if that is the case, who do you want to see step in the ring with the Almighty? More Bray Wyatt news now, as the Eater of Worlds did not appear on last week's SmackDown, but there was a reference to him on the show. In a backstage segment, Wyatt's logo could be seen in the background, and on last night's Raw, fans caught another tease of the former Universal Champion. On the match card graphic for Seth Rollins vs. Logan Paul, a poster of Wyatt could be seen, and interestingly, so could a poster for Alexa Bliss. The two posters were side by side, something that is likely more than just mere coincidence, and it's interesting that WWE are still teasing Wyatt for the show. WWE sources have been hushed when asking about Wyatt's status for the biggest event of the year, which is still unclear just 11 days away from Night 1. Whether Bray Wyatt appears or not, we can't say for certain, but WWE has not forgotten about the former Universal Champion, despite his absence from programming. In November 2021, fans were shocked to see Nia Jax released from WWE, given that many considered the former Raw Women's Champion a lifer with the company. Given that Jax was criticized by fans for injuring superstars, members of the WWE Universe always suspected that there was some higher up that would make sure she was kept on the roster, but that clearly wasn't the case. After Jax made her in-ring return during this year's Women's Royal Rumble, WWE made a new shirt for her, leaving fans believing that she had reached a deal, but it turns out that her wrestling future could be in AEW. Speaking during a recent K&S virtual signing, Jax was asked if she'd ever consider joining Tony Khan's first promotion, and was open to the idea. She said, "I actually would. I keep getting asked that question and I usually say no, but I actually would. I'm really good friends with Saraya. I love what she's been doing there. I recently met Nyla Rose. It would be kind of cool and something different. Jax has kept away from the ring in the time since her WWE release, and though she was booked for the AOP's Wrestling Entertainment Series promotion, that company never held its first show. While Jax has some old WWE pals in AEW, we imagine the backlash against her joining by fans would be huge, and it'll be Tony Khan's decision to whether a deal is offered. One name fans can already see in AEW is Sting, who reached his 64th birthday yesterday, and the Icon has big plans on how to celebrate. It's been confirmed that AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy will team with Sting and Darby Allin to face Kip Sabian, The Butcher, and The Blade in what will be one major birthday bash for the Stinger. Since returning to WWE in 2016, Bill Goldberg has had a handful of matches per year, but fans haven't seen much of the WWE Hall of Famer as of late. Goldberg's one and only match in 2022 saw him lose to Roman Reigns in February of that year, and while Goldberg recently claimed WWE owes him another match, that isn't the case at all. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has learned that Goldberg's WWE contract actually ended in late 2022, and no agreement to renew or extend the agreement was reached. Since then, the 56-year-old legend has been a free agent, meaning his comments that WWE owe him a retirement match were about what he wants rather than what WWE is legally obliged to give him. In 2019, it was rumored that AEW were interested in bringing Goldberg in, but those rumors were never confirmed, and it'd be a bold move for Tony Khan if he tried to sign him now. After all, much of Goldberg's return to WWE has been criticized by fans, as he was often given wins over full-time, more popular superstars, and the last thing Khan would want to do is to repeat this booking. Whatever the future holds for Bill Goldberg, the Hall of Famer is now a free agent, and we expect him to make a big splash in the free agent pool, even if he's only looking for another match or two. But what do you make to Goldberg being a free agent? What would you like to see him do next? Sound off in the comments. Speaking of ex-WWE talent, Miro made a huge impression when he arrived in AEW in 2020, and within a year, the former Rusev had become the TNT champion. After losing the title though, Miro quickly slid down the card, and it's now been months since we've seen the Bulgarian, who isn't injured, in the ring. It turns out that not only is Miro not being used in AEW, he's not even in the same country as the promotion, as Fightful Select reports that he went back home to Bulgaria over a month ago. The report adds that his wife, CJ Perry, has spent some time in Bulgaria with her husband, but it's unclear if she is still there right now. Since July of last year, Miro has had just one match for AEW, that being at the now infamous All Out event in September, and his involvement with that show was as part of a last-minute 6-man tag match. Miro hasn't exactly shied away from how he feels about AEW, liking a tweet last year that suggested that he had it better in WWE, and his wife has said that eventually everyone returns to WWE. While Miro has said that he plans on becoming AEW World Champion at some point, that dream looks more and more unlikely with every passing month. And would you say AEW has killed Miro's wrestling career? Or should he just have a little more patience? And we're ending today with more from Raw, and as we mentioned earlier, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven came up short against Asuka and Bianca Belair. Earlier in the show, Chelsea Green said that Carmella wouldn't be able to make it to the match, and Niven was promoted as a powerhouse that would be hard to beat in the match. Instead, Niven was not only relatively easy to beat, but was the one who took the pin in a bizarre decision by WWE. It felt pointless to hype Niven up as a powerhouse only for her to lose in minutes, and this booking has been indicative of WWE's treatment of the former Doudrop. For all the superstars who have benefited under the Triple H regime, Niven certainly isn't one of them, and things don't seem to be improving for her anytime soon. The biggest thing Niven has had in months was that her name was changed in January, and unless something changes dramatically, and soon, expect to see this supposedly unstoppable powerhouse be stopped time and time again.